Hello, this is Kevin Crane coming to you for Eclipse Corporation, exclusive North American distributor of DocOrigin, an innovative and intuitive software solution for designing and generating dynamic business documents. I'm here with Eclipse Corporation CEO Steve Luke, and we're talking about DocOrigin and how companies are using the platform to improve company performance. Steve, many customers are looking for new alternatives now that Adobe Central is being retired, and DocOrigin has become the solution of choice for many companies making that migration. Why is that?
One of the biggest reasons has to do with the fact that we really truly understood the way Adobe Central worked. And because of that, we were able to focus specifically on adding in some additional functionality within DocOrigin that made the migration much simpler, much more faster, and allowed the customers to use the templates they currently already have and the data they currently generate to make the migration times faster. And we are able to do that with DocOrigin. We're able to literally convert a lot of the forms in just minutes or seconds, and then go through a QA process instead of doing a total redesign.
So DocOrigin has a number of automated form conversion features that are built right in.
Some of the tools are actually to allow us to accept the current data that the companies are generating in the form that it was generated in for legacy applications while they're working to migrate their output into new XML-type formats. We're really making the life a lot easier for the customers because it may take them years to modify their existing legacy application. And it's not only for Adobe Central products, but we've got the same migration tools for several other products as well.
One of the things that you talk about in your lectures, I know you'll be at the upcoming Exploration 14 conference, one of your topics is white space and how white space is really a wasted opportunity for many organizations. How so, and how can companies make better use of the white space on their statements and bills and other customer correspondence?
White space, what we call fixed white space, has been around for quite a while. White space that's left purposely on the page and fill that in with potentially relevant information based on the person or company or entity or even the products that the people are buying. So that fixed white space has been around for quite a while, but you have to purposely leave that space on the page. So when you're designing your template, you've got to leave that space there. Second, many of the legacy data streams that were being produced just don't have the relevant information in them that are going to let you make that white space as dynamic and customer-centric as you need. So with that said, we obviously can fill that white space and use that white space, but always in other cases, white space has been a post-process solution for many people. In other words, the document's been completely composed and generated, and then another software product picks up the finished product and adds to it. So you're really going through a double pass of every page, every document, and it's very inefficient. With today's technology, we can do that on the first pass as part of the original creation of the document. And, of course, there's other white space types that we like to work with, and I think that we're unique in.
Your approach at Eclipse and using DocOrigin is to also bring in these elements of dynamic white space and creative white space. What are the differences in those, and how can I use those for improved profitability and performance?
Well, we have dynamic white space, and we also have creative white space. Both of these two types of white space are dynamic, but the separation of the two is that the dynamic white space is actually white space that gets left on a page, either at the end of a page or at the end of a document, simply because there was no more data to fill in the space. So you may have only a few line items shipped, and you may have quite a bit of white space left on the page that is, it's there, but no one knew it was there until the document was actually being created. With the DocOrigin technology, we know at every given moment how much space is left between a table and a total footer, or how much is left after the last object on the page and the end of the page. We also know when, on the end of a document, when all information has been placed, how much white space is left on the page. And we can then take that and take marketing pieces or branding pieces or upsell and cross-promo pieces and place them in those spaces when they're available. And this makes for use of space that in other situations would be just totally lost to the world. We are seeing a big demand for that today, and it can only be done as a pre-processed step because only the designer tool and the merge engine that's creating this output knows the spaces available and how much is going to be available. And we actually can automatically size the type of images and messages that are going in these spaces so that they look good and get the right message across. They also can be totally data-driven.
And Steve, what about creative space?
In the case of creative space, what we're doing is being able to actually automatically create space that was not in the document originally, such as in a detail line. We're shipping product A, and because they're buying product A, we want to insert a message across the page that says people who bought product A are also buying product B, and things like that. So these are spaces that we automatically create on the fly for specific marketing or business campaigns.
Okay, so it's really about dynamic white space management. Fixed space? Sure, let's use it because it's there and it's fixed. Why not take advantage of it? Dynamic space, well, let's take advantage of that too, but we need to know when it's there and how appropriately to use it, and that's one of the things that DocOrigin does. And then creative spaces, when indeed we're actually creating more space, it won't be necessarily white because we'll have relevant and important messaging and content there. But that's really the next generation of white space management, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I think that was a really good summary of the ways that we can take this white space and make the documents more relevant and really become more of a profit center to a company than a cost center. We've always had IT looking at this type of technology as a cost. It's always a cost here, and it's always been a headache. But with this new technology, we're able to do some things that removes burdens from the IT department and allows the stakeholders in HR, marketing, legal to take those roles and take care of it without involving IT.
Well, one of the ways that DocOrigin does that is through what you call intelligent folder-driven automation, which allows users to manage this personalized messaging and advertising in white space. And you say that the use of templates and folders is a concept that many developers have overlooked. How so?
I think in the beginning, it had a lot to do with the fact that the composition tools that were being used just simply clearly had never thought, the people that designed them had never thought of this technology or this ability to take advantage of this technology. There are a number of legacy products out there that just don't have the ability to do this. In the case of folder-driven technologies, what that's really doing is creating a separation between IT and the stakeholders. It's allowing IT to sit down with the stakeholders in the beginning because IT typically does get involved in the design and of the actual form template or document template. However, once it's done in the old days, it was pretty much locked down, and it was impossible for stakeholders to get things done quickly. If they wanted to change, it would be weeks or months to get those changes made. With DocOrigin's technology, IT can design these documents, and once these templates are designed, then place them in folders. They have their own QA and test environments, so when they create a new paragraph or pages of paragraphs and they want to see what it looks like, they can just simply push it into a folder, copy the rich text file into a folder, and a few seconds later a sample document comes out, move those files over to production. The next time a production run gets run, those can be put in place. Now, this can also be set to where it's time and date sensitive. So, for instance, we may have to recreate a document 6 months from now that was actually generated in January, and we had to generate it exactly the way it was for legal and compliance reasons. However, if we have to create a new document today where these changes are being made because of the information that's been placed in a folder, such as an image or a legal paragraph or something like that, the technology allows for that.
At Eclipse, you guys are all about using DocOrigin to empower marketing and teams and business units with more advanced document composition and marketing capabilities, while reducing or in some cases eliminating the need for IT support, but also protecting the domain of IT, protecting the testing and the production responsibilities that continue to be a part of IT.
Yeah, Kevin, I think that's an extremely good point. Bottom line is business people can absolutely contribute to making a document the best it can be. But when it really comes down to the bottom line, the business people aren't there to make sure that the computers are running and that everything is coming out the way that it should. They don't get involved with some of this QA processes. We don't personally, or I don't personally think that the IT department will ever be completely out of this game. However, I do think that we'll see over the next few years a huge amount of change in the way stakeholders involve themselves in the use and the design and the delivery of creative transactional documents.
What are the key strategic factors that companies should consider today, especially those looking to upgrade from the older Adobe products, the older legacy products, and when they begin to evaluate available alternatives like DocOrigin?
I think obviously one of the things that's important is that the new technology can handle the data they're creating today and handle the data that they envision they're going to be creating 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And I'm pretty confident that what's going to happen over the next few years is the combination of having truly relevant information in a document, whether that document is presented on a smartphone, a tablet, or on a desktop PC. We're delivering documents in a different way to these smart devices and tablets. And today, most of your document composition tools that are designed for print mail services don't have the capability of creating fillable forms that can be completed on a smartphone or a tablet where people can interact with the document once it arrives and not just simply read it.
That's Steve Luke, CEO with Eclipse Corporation, experts in dynamic document generation, solutions, and strategies using DocOrigin. For more information, visit the Eclipse Corp website at eclipsecorp.us. That's eclipsecorp.us, or call 678-408-1245. I'm Kevin Crane for Eclipse Corporation. Thanks for listening.